Welcome to Sacred Frequency, the official podcast of Sacred Echo Nonprofit, where holistic healing, rhythmic sounds, and nature-inspired living come together. Join us as we connect with healers, musicians, industry professionals, and visionaries, sharing wisdom to elevate your body, mind, and spirit. Tune in, harmonize, and embrace the sacred vibrations of life. This episode of the Sacred Frequency podcast was recorded live at Om and Honey Reggae Radio and Media Studios in beautiful Daytona Beach, Florida. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Sacred Frequency podcast. I'm your host, Scotty the High-Strung Hippie. Just a heads up, be prepared for a gratuitous use of the words and Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this episode of the Sacred Frequency podcast. I'm your guide, Scotty, the High-Strung Hippie. Kind of a cool nickname my friends gave me back in the day, and once you get to know me, you'll understand exactly why. Now, as you heard the intro to the podcast, we are the official podcast of Sacred Echo, a nonprofit organization. You can check us out at sacredecho.org, and you can kind of see who we are, what we do, what we're all about. Sign up for our email list, and it'll keep you up to date with everything that we have going on. And you'll also be part of a really awesome community. Also, if you heard the amazing intro music, that is a mantra by Sounds of Isha. They're absolutely incredible. They have like 500,000 Spotify listeners a month. And I hit them up and asked them if I could use their song, explain to them what we're doing. They said yes. So I was absolutely kind of blown away. So just go to Spotify or your favorite streaming platform and check out Sounds of Isha. Now, once again, folks, I definitely want to thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Sacred Frequency podcast. I do have a special guest with me today, Jennifer McAllister. Now, let me go ahead and note one thing real quick. I might have episodes where I do have my friends on and we're just talking and bantering, but if I have somebody on this podcast who's going to be talking about a specific topic, rest assured that they are an industry professional. So, not that everybody knows everything, but we do strive here at Sacred Echo and Sacred Frequency to make sure that the information that we're giving you is current, up to date, and as factual as possible. So, on this episode, we're going to be talking about getting past the stigma of plant-based medicine, because there is a big stigma. Not as much as there used to be, but there still is one. We're specifically going to focus on cannabis. Real quick before we start talking about the stigma, my father is a Southern Baptist minister, ordained, and he's had brain cancer, or he has a brain tumor, for 15 years. He has to get an injection every 2 weeks so the tumor doesn't grow. But when he was offered plant-based medicine or a plant-based option, he got offended when I asked him. And I find that a lot of people are that way. They have the stigma, whether it be from a religion that they grew up in, just their upbringing, their age, their geographic location. But we're here to try to easily break the stigma of certain things, especially plant-based medicine, because it is so important and it is becoming so crucial, because we all know that Big Pharma does not have our best interests in mind. But like anything, it can be abused. So, we always condone proper use, anything. Food is extremely dangerous when misused. So, used properly, plant-based medicine is absolutely phenomenal. So, like I said, I just want to welcome to the show Jennifer McAllister. She's an industry professional in the medical marijuana industry. She is also a friend of the foundation. She's also a member of Sacred Echo. She's helping us with social media outreach, marketing, all that fun stuff. So not only a guest, but also a friend and a big part of what we're doing. So, Jennifer, hello.
Hello.
There we go. I'm just getting my feet wet with my own podcast gear, so the volume wasn't up. Pardon me there, folks. So, obviously, I wanted you to come on here because this is a topic that there's a million podcasts, I'm sure, about medical marijuana.
Yeah,
So, there's got to be. But I wanted to do this one. You know, I don't know if there's a lot on the stigma. I mean, you can get a lot of information.
Well, there's always room for more.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So, real quick, just let me ask you, what kind of inspired you to get involved in medical marijuana? Not just having a medical card or doing it, but actually advocating for it.
Well, health reasons. Absolutely is the number one reason I got involved, for health reasons, because I was overweight. I had a thyroid issue, cholesterol issue. The doctor just kept handing me another medication.
Right.
I was on 16 medications at a time, and my family was telling me that I was having episodes of, like, that wasn't right. Like, I wasn't normal. And I thought they were crazy because I didn't recognize these episodes and,
right.
You know, how they were, you know, being portrayed to my family.
Sure.
So then I went and talked to my neurologist, and they did epilepsy tests, seizure tests, all the tests that you could do on one's brain to try to figure out if something was wrong, because I was losing time. I didn't remember going into these episodes.
Right.
So so nothing was wrong with my brain, nothing at all. So the doctor was like, well, what medications have you maybe had that were new lately? And there was a couple of medications. Gabapentin is one of them, and it's a very dangerous drug. And so many people are prescribed that and overprescribed that. And then I think the other one is like triazidine or something. And the two of those are just a bad combination together. My grandmother recently had to take them for shingles, and she didn't remember a whole dinner with me for St. Patrick's Day, and she didn't remember that conversation. So I was able to actually get her to use the medicine at that time.
And that does happen, the overprescription.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean,
So,
it's what they'll do to people.
Yeah.
Especially Big Pharma, yeah.
Big Pharma is
It's
all
sad.
about, you know, getting paid.
That's it.
And they're
100%.
not worried about what they're doing to us. So being on 16, though, medications at one time is absolutely insanity.
That's unbelievable.
Really. And then when I got my records at that time, I had been on 36 different prescriptions in a 12-year period, because you get infections, you get sick all the time because of all the medications, because they're depleting your immune system.
Certainly.
And definitely hurting your body. So I had to make a change, and my doctor was like, well, we need to get you off of these medications, and you need to maybe try medical marijuana. And I was like, this is what I've asked for. I had asked my doctor at that time to give me medical marijuana, and he said I didn't qualify.
Right.
But he qualified me by over-medicating me.
Wait, so you didn't qualify for medical marijuana?
No, but I qualified for the 16
other,
medications every day to take.
Isn't that wild how that
because
works?
that's normal, and that's okay.
Of course.
Like, just take pills all day. That'll help.
Yeah, you need to go to sleep, just pop.
You got to have a medication to get up. You got to have a medication to go to bed. You got to have a medication for this. And then if you get any kind of pain, well, then you got to have a pain medication. If you got any kind of anything, you know, I had a thyroid issue and a cholesterol issue. I don't have those right now.
Yep.
I quit all of those medications, and I no longer have a thyroid issue. I no longer have a cholesterol issue. And so I lost 100 pounds. I was able
changed to the opposite. Like, a lot of people,
because your body
they think when you smoke or consume marijuana that you eat a lot and you gain more weight, but
no, but your body goes into homeostasis.
Sure.
And your body has an endocannabinoid system that's made for the plant.
100%.
So it's pretty crazy that they've actually kept this plant from us our entire life, but yet our system is designed to work with it as a medication.
Right.
And yet they still haven't, opened up things they needed to open up when there's so many of us out here showing that it can be done.
Put fluoride in the water to calcify the pineal gland.
It's all,
you know what I mean? Like,
they're not out here to help us. The government is
no.
not out here to help us with our health in any way, shape, or form.
No. And they want us, whether you're spiritual or not, it doesn't matter. They want us to not have a connection with the universe. You know what I mean? A universal consciousness, if you will.
Well, they definitely
and that's what they try to stop.
Are not looking out for us. You know? That's what I know.
100%.
Yeah, it's so health reasons is why I definitely do this, and that's why it's so passionate about it, because I was able to get rid of every one of those medications. I currently only take estrogen. It's not anything you can naturally reproduce in any way, shape, or form. So, we got to go with that one. But that's okay if I have to take that one. And that's not even forever. That's just, until your body kind of works itself out.
Absolutely. That's amazing. There's a lot of stories out there like that, too. People, I was on antidepressants. I was on anti-anxiety.
I'm bipolar.
Yes.
I have all kinds. I have ADHD, bipolar, PTSD, body dysmorphia. I have like the whole thing. And so it's definitely, it helps in every one of those areas. That's the beauty of the plant is that it doesn't just help your immune system. It helps you with pain. It helps you with your mental health, especially with your mental health. It allows people to get up and get through their day.
Well, there's a lot of research going on now. Plants do have consciousness, you know what I mean? And we communicate with plants, back in the day.
They tell you to talk to
ask
plants.
any shaman,
absolutely.
How did you know that this plant worked with it? The plant told me. Straight up. I mean, and mushrooms too, that's what trees use to communicate the mycorrhizal system.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is. It's absolutely.
It's amazing what the
phenomenal.
plants have to offer us.
You kind of already answered my second question that I have, but maybe a couple more points. What perspective do you think you bring to the conversation about marijuana legalization?
Well, breaking the stigma.
Yep. 100%.
I'm all about breaking the stigma because people are all about going to that doctor and saying, "Sure, you want to put me on this pill? I don't know a thing about this pill, but I'll take it. How many times a day do you want me to take it? How often? What prescription? What milligrams? Like that's your next outlook." Well, instead, this is grown naturally.
Yep.
And people are afraid of it, which is just bizarre. Because if you're willing to take this pharmaceutically
when you
created
see a commercial on TV, the side effects, you're like,
well, like how many side effects do I need to have for this one medication? And then, God forbid, I'm on 3 other medications already because now all those side effects have just created a debacle. That's how I was literally driving down the street with my son and blacking out. That was the main reason I went to the neurologist, because my son was like, "I don't know what to do. Mom literally has got a car full of groceries and she's not here. She's not with me."
Wow.
And so I had to do something. Natural medicine has never put me in that state. Absolutely ever.
Absolutely. And it won't. That's a beautiful thing.
No, it won't. And especially if you use it wisely. I mean, I'm using it to medicate. I'm not out here just trying to be ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's very cool. Well, one of the reasons I did bring you on is because you are an industry professional, which to me means you have a role in the industry that we're talking about, and it's your profession. Why don't you go ahead and explain to the audience a little bit about kind of what you do in the medical cannabis industry?
Education.
Okay.
I educate and consult with people. I basically call myself a consultant because I can help you learn what strains might help you or types of use you might want to go with. Like if you prefer a flower route, or if you prefer an edible route or a tincture route, or you just need it topically, or whatever your need is for the medicine and how best it would suit you. Also, we at my office, Dr. Ryan's office, Atlantic Coast Cannabis, we prescribe we're prescribing doctors, so we allow you to get your medical marijuana license.
Oh, nice.
So you can come there and see the doctor and get a prescription, a recommendation to go and get your cannabis. And then if you need help, her doctor's office is really, really big about advocating for help. Like we do our best to try to make sure you feel like you know what you're doing when you leave our office, like you know what route you might be interested in, and you have a slew of paperwork that you can take with you about different places and what they have to offer. and just anything. And if you have any problems, you can call us. We help them renew their medical marijuana license. Like if they don't know how to go online to the registry and figure out like how to renew it every year and pay the state, they can call us and we put in a password for them and we just do it all for them. Like we're there to help.
The point now yet where you can get your card under the age of 18? Because I know a 7-year-old can take Ritalin, which is
right, and
amazing.
I'm with you. I can definitely. My stepson was one of those children at 3 years old that was put on Adderall, and that's insanity to me. But they'll do that. So you could and you can. That is the beauty of it. But you would be. It would be a caregiver role.
Okay.
So I was a caregiver for a while for. My ex-husband, he didn't even like to go deal with the dispensaries because he just has anxiety. And so I would take care of that. So I was his caregiver and I pay the state a separate fee and they allow me to go and put in an order, pick up his medication and bring it back to him and everything. So it's a really cool thing because then you are then a caregiver to the child would get one as a patient, like a pediatric patient, they call it. And then you would have a caregiver role. So it kind of requires 2 licenses, I think, because that way, there's like a supervision on that. And you would want that anyway because it's just a security level, I feel like, for children.
That's awesome. Well, at least it is available because
it is. It
the
is.
pharmaceuticals that they do give children are it's staggering.
No, I highly encourage people to not keep it from their children either because I feel like they need to understand that it's a medication and it's used responsibly as a medication and you're not just partying with it in front of them, but they are just seeing that it's responsibly used. My children are those children. Right. My children seeing mom go from somebody who is literally losing consciousness driving down the street from medications that those doctors prescribed her to somebody functioning every day, being a community advocate, being functioning in the society and doing good and like bringing more to the community than I ever could have done and becoming way more healthier in the process and finding a new group of people to be around and, no longer involved with things that were not good for me.
And you did mention the stigma. A lot of people think, it's not really that bad. It's okay. Well, no, alcohol is completely normalized.
Oh, yeah, alcohol is fine. And you can get in an accident and kill somebody on alcohol driving home. And that's still okay.
That's a whole other show.
It's just okay. Right. It's just okay.
So,
crazy.
In your opinion, what do you think are some of the most significant barriers or setbacks to marijuana legislation, on a national and global scale?
I personally think finances.
Yeah.
I think that the federally legalization hasn't happened because they haven't figured out how to capitalize to the max.
Do you think that would screw the little guy, though? The smaller brother?
I mean, I'm here to say, yeah, probably. But they haven't figured that out yet.
Right.
They just don't know what to do with it. They see how many people are becoming patients to have access to this and as medicine. I'm sure there's a few that may not be, but for the majority of them, that we're all out here trying to do research and advocate and bring back bring back this information to everybody and show we're functioning society, people out here, we're going to work, we're doing this, we're not taking any other.
It was Ronald Reagan during the Reagan administration where he had stopped the when his war on drugs, actually they completely halted research with psychedelics.
Yeah,
and
that's when the war on drugs started.
Exactly, yeah. So it's starting to come back, but I mean, there's a lot of valuable time.
Yeah, well, because a lot of us knew prior to that time. I mean, they were prescribing weed, for things and psilocybin for things, and that was because natural medicine was all they had.
Sure.
Right.
And it works.
And then we came along and we're like, oh, but we can create this thing that we've manufactured in this lab that can help. But they don't really know and they don't really care what the side effects may be to you as long as what they are trying to target is being cured. That's working. That's fixing that. Right. But that's not fixing all these other things now that are happening. Now I have all these other things that have started because of that medication, the side effect list that you didn't want to deal with.
Exactly.
Now you're dealing with 2 or 3 of those things, and you can't get away from it because you have to take this medicine to fix that thing. But if you can replace that with natural medicine that can literally not create any other problems.
Right, absolutely.
And just help with other problems because the best thing about CBD is that it works without any psychoactive effects.
Yes, 100%.
But it can still help with an antidepressant. It can help with inflammation. It can help with anxiety.
Now we can give it to our dog. It helps with pets.
With your pets to help their anxiety. Right. And if you see how much people do that, but they don't want to take it themselves, but some of them will give it to their pets and not take it themselves.
Right.
But it's just CBD.
Yeah.
Just incorporating CBD in your diet. And a lot of people that use THC don't incorporate enough CBD.
Right.
Because they think they don't need it. And then I work with these kind of people and they're like, well, I get that in my THC and my flower, right? And you're like, no. Well, yes, you know, theoretically, yes, you do. But it's like just a tiny amount. You really need to take it in other ways to get all those benefits.
I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
no,
really
and it
cool.
can work as like a rescue inhaler in a sense. So if your THC is too much in your body, say you've ingested too much or you've inhaled too many, you then can take some CBD and that will kind of level things out, bring you back down to earth a little bit if you feel like you've had too much. And if that doesn't work, or if you don't have access to CBD, I highly recommend you just get a peppercorn and put it under your tongue.
That's cool. It's kind of like drinking
that'll
milk
immediately
if you've had
reverse
too much
the effects
of the,
too. So that's another
psychedelics,
thing though. So the beauty of cannabis is you can like try to reverse those effects so where they're not so strong in that moment. You just have to remember to do that. You don't panic. Like there's you can fix it even with just relaxing, closing your eyes, maybe take a nap, take a snack, something like that. Just kind of level you out a little bit.
Yep.
Just pepper under the tongue. A lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know that. I think we've all been there though.
Yeah, everybody's been there where they were like, oh, I think this is a little too far right now. How do I back it up? What do I do? And just some CBD. If you don't have that, just a peppercorn. It fixes the problem.
Really cool.
And it's the beauty of it. Because like some of those, you can just Narcan yourself.
Right. Well, you think about a peppercorn, the peppercorn plant, it's a plant.
You could, I guess, if you wanted, but no people don't do that.
It's funny.
It's kind of.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I can only imagine the 911 calls. But,
right.
Now, we kind of went over, like the reasons that you started taking it. Say, for example, you don't have, depression or anxiety or a disease that medical cannabis might help. Would it just benefit your?
I would say CBD would be something that would just benefit everybody.
The everyday person? Okay.
The everyday person. It wouldn't create any psychoactive effects. It's not going to do really anything but give you some positive effects. So it's going to help with your appetite, or it can help just relax you. It can help with just your aches and pains of your joints. Like it's like a lubrication for your joints in a sense, if you want to look at it in that way. It just can help you with your mental health and just have a more, if you do, I feel like everybody deals with depression or some type of mental struggle.
Yes.
No matter if it's just the smallest amount, maybe in the middle of the day, just you're like this creeping in. But, so it could benefit everybody in that aspect because it can definitely help with some of that and just kind of keep your mood more stabilized.
Okay. So I think I already know this anyway, just from talking to you, but how do you feel about legalization recreationally?
I feel like everybody should have access to the plant.
Right.
Absolutely everybody.
Okay.
It's absolutely crucial because it can really help everybody because alcohol is legal to everybody.
Yes. 100%.
And not nobody needs it. It's poison.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Okay, but this is a plant, and this actually was designed to help your body and in all the aches and pains and ailments that you will have at some point in time. It's just a matter of how you're going to approach the treatment of those things.
Right. Do you think it'll end up like Big Pharma today, 200 years down the road, where it's been one group is taking over, they're making all of it kind of like the FDA or whatever, and they're in control of it, and they're doing what they want,
like
to
a monopoly in
exactly.
a sense. Well, I feel like there's companies that definitely want that,
right?
But I don't feel like that's the way to go. I feel like that you can't have too many. You can't just have everybody willy nilly in shops everywhere because then you're just gonna. It's just that's going to be too much. But
you
I
can't
do
regulate it.
Right. The licenses need to be structured, I feel like. But I feel like definitely more options are better. I feel like all the different places that are even available now have something to offer you.
Yeah.
Like, and each one has something different that I can say, like, I may not like all their products and I might not always want to shop there, but they have one product that I can guarantee I like that I would recommend.
Right.
So I feel like they all have a place.
Sure.
They're
certainly.
not all my favorite, but they definitely all play a role. But I feel like some definitely try to take out of others.
Right.
And I feel like, that's just life. That's just, that happens in everything.
Sure. 100%.
In every aspect of everything of our lives.
Yeah. We'd like to
clothing, they're
right.
competitors. Everybody's competitors. So everybody's competing for the next best thing. So, it's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're just
100%.
not going to escape it. But I feel like, right, the legalization of home grow is so important for that, because also I feel like the dispensaries are still necessary because, we're not always going to be able to have it year round. And sometimes even in tropical or in some environments, that it just doesn't allow you to have it at certain times of the year. Right. Or at all. Or you're raising children and you can't be growing that kind of stuff out in the yard. It's just not necessarily safe. Like, because you need to be responsible about it and use your brain always and everything. But most certainly, I think that we should have access to, and if they limit it, that's fine too, but at least a couple of plants. And it's a plant. It's like tomato. Why can't I go put it in the ground? If I can grow it, why can't I grow it?
Yep, I agree. Completely,
and use it as my medicine because it's medicine. Just like a plant is my food, so I can grow my food, but I can't grow my medicine.
Right.
It's just insanity to me.
Well, I mean, look at that point. How would you feel if you knew all your food was created in a lab with chemicals?
Exactly.
Well, a lot of it actually
and
is,
even with these people growing my medicine, my marijuana medicine, some of them have issues too, and that happens. I'm not, and I get it. It happens. But, it's when they have that problem and they're low, maybe I have my own at home at that time, you know, because I was growing my little plant over here, But a lot of states are doing that. So Florida is the one state right now that isn't. There's several other, obviously, still that aren't legal, but definitely we haven't gotten to that point. I voted no on the Amendment 3.
Yes.
And I'll say that freely because it was not the bill for the people. It's not safe for the people.
Right.
If they're not going to take any responsibility from seed to sale, well, I'm not paying for a medical license for that kind of that's just they're just not even paying attention, and they don't care if they give me something bad, and they're not going to take responsibility for it. I can't get on that ship.
Yep.
That was the main reason I didn't vote for it.
Absolutely.
That is the strict reason. I feel like
that was kind of where I was wanting you to go with it. You kind of, I knew the answer, but
I feel like
it's interesting. But
it's the most important because sure, there wasn't home grow and all these other things with it, which I felt like, and everybody it's going to create a monopoly, and there wasn't home grow. But my biggest concern is my health.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I started this journey. So I'm not going to allow you to play with my medicine in that manner. I want you to take care of it. I want you to know that it's good. And then if it's not, then I want you to take responsibility and say, we'll make it right. We're sorry. Everybody else can do that. You should too.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with you on that 100%. With the kind of the advancement of technology, it's kind of cool. That we're coming up in this day and age with the plant-based medicine, and we're in such, technology's in full force.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think technology is influencing the distribution and sale of
I think it's helping a lot, even just like with the whole.
Do you think it's influencing it though? I mean, like making it go one specific.
Not maybe one specific way, but
yeah.
I feel like it helps propel it forward for sure, because the technology in all aspects, even from seed to sale, with technology would be, are so imperative now, whereas like maybe back before they didn't have all the technology we have to make these grow boxes that you can get, and they can help you grow your own medicine, so it's like crazy.
That's kind of what I was getting at, with like, for example, those grow boxes that you have, you can, I think it's technology is definitely making it go a specific direction where it's definitely making the home grow
it's more accessible
a lot
to
more
the
accessible
average
and a lot
person.
easier.
Yeah, because they basically have it all mapped out for you on an
100%.
app, and you just like follow the directions,
and
you do what you got to do, and and they walk you through the whole process. It's incredibly cool. It's so cool. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fantastic.
So cool.
Yeah, it's mind blowing. I love it.
It is really mind blowing, and it's totally obtainable.
Yes, absolutely.
It's really attainable for the average person,
And it's not that expensive either. You know what I mean?
No, some of them are. Some of them can be expensive, but no, you can get one for under $500, for right around $500, and that's not too bad in today's age, really.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely fascinating, all the stuff.
But it's not like thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like when a couple of years back, even though it feels like that's what it was, to get any kind of equipment for your own type of stuff, it seemed like it was just so far out of reach.
Sure.
It has definitely come a long way just in a few years, you know, because I've been heavily involved as a patient since 2019, February of 2019. So February 22nd will be my 5-year mark as a medical patient, but I've been involved and enjoyed cannabis since I was 13. I knew from a young age that it was something that was benefiting me in some way. Like, maybe if I couldn't pinpoint it at that time, I knew it was benefiting me. Like, I just felt mentally better with it.
Yes.
And they kept it from me, and so I had to keep it I had to be in the closet for a lot of years.
And I know you were a huge, or are a huge influencer too when it comes to cannabis on both sides.
Yeah. Well,
really
because
cool.
I like to find all the new gadgets and toys that are available, as far as all the cool little things we can, and I like to bring that to you. And my whole thought process on that is like, I'm saving you so much money, because like a lot of these products, I was buying them to start with and still sharing this information.
What's your Insta real quick?
Currently my Instagram, because my original was deleted by Instagram.
Was absolutely phenomenal.
Nonsense.
It was really good stuff.
5,000 followers on.
Yep.
It's Jen Dabs, JenNDabs 710.
Follow Jen Dabs. You guys will not be disappointed.
My X account, though, highly encourage you to follow me on X at Jen's Nugget, JenNSNUGGET 420. And that's my original. And then I have that on my TikTok. That's my TikTok account. And then I also have a YouTube channel, which is I'm still trying to work on that, but it's Jen's Nuggets 420. So basically the same with the S at the end of Nugget 420.
Well, there's one person listening to this. If there's 100, if there's 1,000, and this is something you're interested in, definitely go to her profile. She does the homework for you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I do try to do the homework for you, and that way, when you're like, "Oh, what kind of product? If I want to have a dab rig, what would be ideal for me?" And then if I just get a few minutes with you and conversation, and like find out what kind of lifestyle you live, and like what kind of device might fit you better. Like, do you need a device that you can carry around because you're always going to events and you want to take it with you and play with all your friends, or do you want to just have something discreet for at the house so the kids can't find it?
Right.
Like, what are you looking to do with it, and what is your purpose? And I can definitely try to point you. If I haven't used it, I probably know of something that we could find you, like the one I give your wife. You know, it's just a little discreet little device for doing dabs, but it works, and that would be perfect for somebody on the go,
100%.
or just a discreet little device. So yeah, that's
and you need them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, everybody, especially if you're involved in this industry, eventually you will need a little bit of everything, because the good thing about this is that once you become a patient, you really get interested in a lot of the different things that they have to offer, and you're like, how do I do these things? And then you're educating yourself every day. So they wanted to say that at one point stoners were stupid and lazy, and we just laid around on the couch and ate potato chips all day. No, we didn't. We don't, because we're constantly learning. Like, there's so many different levels of THC, THCA, CBD, CBG, CBN, like all these things I'm spitting out rapid fire is a lot, and RSO, and then you've got to go, what are these things?
Right.
And how do I use these things? And then the next thing you know, you're getting your Google degree.
Yep.
And you're on there trying to figure out what you're going to do and how you're going to use your next thing. Am I going to get chocolates? Am I going to go get a tincture? Am I going to bake some cookies this week?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you really start, and then baking cookies. Well, now I got to divide. I got to do math because I have to figure out how much these cookies are going to be.
And get this. It becomes a lifestyle.
That's right. And you learn, you're constantly educating yourself.
I'd much rather hang out with somebody whose lifestyle was deciding on what kind of cannabis cookies they were going to make next
this
week.
Right.
I'm going to take 12 Xanax and drink a 12-pack of beer,
and start fights and be ridiculous.
Right.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's a great lifestyle, I think.
You definitely do not, in our events, reggae music, or,
100%.
We're out there just listening to music, smoking, and enjoying our lives, and there's never any fighting.
Nope. And,
any cannabis festivals I go to, never a fight. I haven't seen one yet.
That's also something, just quick, kind of in out real fast, something else that we're going to be featuring on the podcast. There's a lot of reggae music, reggae artists, things of that nature. It definitely falls in line with what we're doing, the natural, holistic, and obviously the cannabis is a big part of the culture. But Jen definitely brings up a really good point. What is the norm now is what causes the most problems, and what is socially acceptable now is what causes the most problems. And it's absolutely amazing that one thing is people are having to work so hard
peaceful,
to make
though,
it socially
when
acceptable.
people are just smoking and vibing at a festival. It's literally just a peaceful experience. People are not rowdy and 100%. Obnoxious and like falling over on each other. It's literally just a nice vibe, and it's the vibe I enjoy. I don't enjoy, I grew up in the bars, a whole nother podcast, but I had a rough upbringing, so I just don't like to be around those people.
Well, now, 100%. I quit drinking alcohol 7 months ago. I drank for, let's see, from the age of 17 to 47. However many years that is, 30 years straight, every single day. And
you feel?
Now, from quitting? Oh, like a brand new. Yes, 100%. I still have a lot of work to do.
But you would have never thought that 7 months ago.
Right. No,
so look at you
not.
go. So it takes, I always say it takes getting your body, like you need to get a baseline.
Yes. 100%.
You have to get a baseline with yourself. Sometimes you have to detox of whatever it is you're doing. Like I had to detox off all those medications all by myself. I did that all by myself. No doctors helped me. Nobody helped me. I did it by myself, and I've done it several times because I've had surgeries. I had to go back on medications temporarily.
Right.
And my last surgery, I was on medications for 14 days, but it's still the roughest 14 days you go through because your body's like hasn't been on medication, and then oh my God, there's all this medication in your system, and then your whole body is like in shock from it, and then you're like, just it's violent, and then you are fine for these 14 days. You got all this pain meds in you and stuff, and then you got to get them out of you, and then that's violent because your body just for this 14 days it feels like you've been doing them your whole life. It's absolutely insanity.
Well, we are actually getting to the point now where people are starting to realize there is a plant-based cure or remedy for everything. For every ailment.
It really is. I treat everything. I'm bipolar, ADHD, I have body dysmorphia, all these things, PTSD, but I only use cannabis.
Right.
Not everybody can do that, and I do realize that. But I feel like if you can, and if you can even take down the amount of whatever it is you're taking by incorporating CBD or any kind of THC into your regimen, that you should try it and see if it will work for you in some capacity, because the less that we feed into these pharmaceutical companies, the better. The less of that you're putting in your system, the better.
Yes, 100%. Yes, it is sad. Like I said, it's bad when they have to have commercials for the new pharmaceuticals that they have coming out, trying to convince you to go to your doctor and tell them that you want this one. It's and
terrifying. You can do it. You really don't need necessarily a doctor to help you. That's the other beauty about cannabis. And I actually had this conversation with a patient the other day, is that you don't need a prescription on how to use it.
Right.
You literally use it when you need to use it only.
Right. Yep.
That's it.
Use as needed.
Right. Like if you need it just in the morning, then so be it. You need it just in the morning. Good. If you need it once in the morning, once in the afternoon, once at night, some need it all day, every day. I mean, but that's the beauty of it. And the also beauty of that is like it treats everybody a little differently too.
100%.
One thing that may work for me may not work for you, but you're going to find the one thing that will work for you. You just don't give up and try all the things. There's so many things. There's
I'm actually
so
going
many
through
ways.
that right now.
So
we were
many
talking
routes.
about that the other day.
Yeah.
I smoked for a very long time, and then I stopped, and now I obviously deal with anxiety, depression, all that fun stuff, and I know it can definitely help. So I need to just find exactly what works by experimenting.
I think a CBD regimen would be good for you. We need to get you on a really high CBD regimen.
Yeah,
and I'm going to work with you on that. And just because that doesn't give any psychoactive effects,
Right.
that shouldn't interfere with your job in any way or anything like that, driving or anything like that. Yeah. So I feel like it would be good to see if that started to help you in any way in the background.
Absolutely. 100%.
And if it does, then we can go from there, because they have things even that are like 20-1, where you just have like the tiniest amount of THC to kind of help you in there, but for the most part it's high CBD.
Right.
So there's so many products. It's not all just THC or CBD. Right. There's like 20-1s, 15-1s, 7-1s, 5-1s, 1-1s. There's a lot, but not every dispensary has them. Right. So you do have to go to like over here, because this place is going to have all of these things you're going to need. Right. And then, maybe this place might have another, but that's also great. Because
and folks out there, I'm an open book. When I say I have anxiety, depression, bipolar, I do. And that's how I found that I'm able to get help and gain knowledge is by being honest with people and then them telling me. So the Sacred Frequency at Yahoo, shoot me an email if something has worked for you, and let me know. But just wanted to ask you a couple of more questions. How are people going to stay informed, or how should they stay informed about everything that's upcoming? Like say, for example, a new law passes when it comes to
Google's really good to just give you the information you need. Like if you're like, what, you can just literally go Google what are the newest laws and legislations in our state right now, and you'll get some feedback. But you can also go to OMMU, which is the Office of Medical Marijuana.
There we go.
And then there's a DISA.com, which usually has like a state-by-state informative area that you can go through to like what is happening in each state right now.
Okay.
And you can also do that. You can just Google even like state legislation of Georgia and, for medical marijuana, and they'll probably give you lots of resources to look up. There's all kinds of, it's ever changing.
Fantastic. 100%.
So, but Office of Medical Marijuana has, a lot of the information on the medical side and being a patient and, how all that works.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Definitely appreciate that. And what would you say to someone who's skeptical about it? Like my dad, for example, it's just morally wrong to him, which is amazing. But
I said it earlier a little bit, is like my biggest thing is you'll try these things that doctors give you that are created and altered in a lab, but you wouldn't try this natural plant that you'll eat tomatoes, you'll eat the things that come out of the ground, but you don't want to try this because you can eat this too. Like I think a lot of people, even the older generation, think like you have to smoke it because once upon a time, that's kind of the only way we had it, like you 100%. Smoked it or, they could have put it in a tea probably, but like it was very minimal. Like that would have been the edible route. And that may have even been prior to our being here, back in 30s regimen type thing. They would have definitely done teas. But I would just say that it's crazy to me that you wouldn't just try a natural thing. But I would tell you to talk to people that may be in the similar situation of you that use that medication and how it is affecting them and how it's benefiting them, and just get to know somebody that is going through what you're going through and using it in a sense, because it's not always about, some people that are really sick may still need some medications, terminally ill, or, they still may need some, hopefully not, but if they do, it's okay. But you want to definitely lessen the amount that they definitely have to intake. And sometimes it just helps with some of the effects that come from the things they're going through, chemo and dialysis and all of those things. It can really help with your appetite. It can help with just from the feeling of going through all of that, and the depression and the worry that goes with it, and the nausea and like everything. So it's definitely, it takes people talking to people. My sister, I was just telling you the other day that my sister, my niece has seizures, juvenile seizures, and she was on medication, and she's a teenager. So naturally her hormones are changing, her attitude's there, and she's, finding her own way and her own sense of who she is. And then now this medication is like interfering with that. Because it is altering her body in a different way, which is altering these hormones that she's going through and causing it to be a little rougher. So my sister was like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, you need to try this CBD and see if that'll really help her, because I understand that she doesn't want to incorporate any THC with my niece yet. And that's fine. I'm all for that. I want the CBD is important that she tries. Like if it doesn't work, then okay. But we got to try. She was very skeptical, and she even sees how much this has helped me. She watched me go from all of those medications too to where I am now. So, but she still wouldn't do it. And then recently she told me that she talked to another mother that had a daughter or a child. I don't remember if it was a male or female, but a child that was dealing with the same thing, seizures. And she had passed a law. I want to say it's called Ashley's Law. And it's like to where I guess you can give these children medical cannabis or CBD in school with this law passed. I don't know if it's in our state. It may be another state that this resides, but she fought for this law, and it changed my sister's outlook on whether she would be giving her daughter now the CBD, because another mother going through it with a child and just happened to be in the same area at the same place, same time, and they had that conversation, that really changed her outlook on it. And I feel like that is so helpful to those that are skeptical, because they see that, okay, well, now this child's benefiting.
Yes.
And this mother's doing it. Yes. So maybe I can try it and not be looked at like I'm a bad mom or I'm doing something wrong, because a lot of moms feel like that, but there's nothing bad about it. It's natural, and it's helping your children. Please give it to them.
Well, that's kind of where I had asked you earlier, a good place to go for resources, and you said Google, but I'm trying to pinpoint.
Charlottesweb.com is a really good for CBD information. It's a really good, as far as me just spitting one off the top of my head. Nice. Charlotte's Web's a really good CBD. That's what I told my sister to use. Okay. I've tried it, and in my opinion, it was one of the better of all of that I've probably used. Right. It's a little costly, but my sister's like, I don't care. I'm like, well, then that was where I would send you.
And we will have links on sacredecho.org as well.
And I will be able to get more links involved on, and I can put those up on the website, because on the spot I don't really have them up to spit off, but I can definitely get them to put on the website, because I'll be dealing with the social medias. So I'll probably have some tabs up there with some of that information.
Yeah, just a good place to go, because Google is so open, and sometimes,
I know it can take you down rabbit holes that you don't need to go down.
To me all the time.
And well, that's why I say the Office of Medical Marijuana. This DISA I was looking at earlier, DISA.com. They had a lot of good, it was talking about the state legislations, but I'll have to look up and try to find myself some better directions on that necessarily. But I would say, you can, if you're a medical patient, you can always call your doctor.
Yeah. And Facebook groups too.
Facebook groups are great. X community. Just ask that your local, your friends that are in that. Find a local group on Facebook.
Exactly. Yep.
That maybe be in your area that has a local group of 420 friendly people, and you'll find it. I promise. Yes, it is there. I will guarantee you. And there's a lot of them that are just so willing to help you, and they all just want to be there to help you understand how this is going to help you too, because we're all out here, we're all so excited about what it's doing for us. Of course we want to share this knowledge. Exactly. Not everybody wants to give all the information like I do, but most people are willing to be like, yeah, it's helping me and I really like it.
And that's a beautiful thing about people in this the community. They're actually sharing this information because
I don't know the single person that's like, this is all my information and I'm not giving it to you. Right. Like nobody in the cannabis industry is like that whatsoever. We are all an open book. A lot of the times there's a lot of people that have been through a lot. They've had rough paths, but a lot of them are changing it with cannabis. They no longer want to live any kind of lifestyle that they lived. They were those people, but they are no longer those people. And that's the beauty of it, because you can this has helped so many addicts too.
And that's what I love about it, the openness and honesty of like this community, or the psychedelics as a whole.
Right.
The research and the people
are
that
using this to
them.
get off of alcohol.
Yes.
People are using this to get off of medications.
But they're being honest and saying,
Yeah.
I was an alcoholic for this long. I do have bipolar. This cured this, and people are like, wow.
Well, it doesn't cure it, but it definitely helps.
Well, it helps it, yes.
Definitely
absolutely.
medicates us, and it allows you to, and it's just important for people to not be so skeptical of it when there's literally millions of us out here trying to show you that we're doing this every day, still functioning and thriving.
Right.
So
100%.
how is that wrong? How is that doing something wrong in any way, shape, or form? If it's not just like a small group of us, there are millions of patients now across worldwide. So, so many states have went recreational and totally, and still have their medical program. I wouldn't go recreational when the recreational is available. I will still be a medical patient. Because I am a medical patient, first of all. And second of all, because the benefits outweigh, like, I will save money and I will have more resources to me as a medical patient. But it definitely needs to be available recreational for those who just want to, have a little bit of a good time sometimes, like they do with the alcohol.
100%.
Like, there should be no difference in that. It's like mommy can smoke a joint, should be just as fine as mommy's having a glass of wine. I mean, mommy has a glass of wine, she's not going to function after a couple of those very well. You might go get your own bath ready. Yep. So I lived that life. Sure. My mom was an alcoholic, so I know. And I know that wasn't the life I wanted.
Right. Absolutely.
So
100%.
I don't drink.
Right.
I just smoke. And I don't, it's never hindered my ability to function. It's never hindered my ability to drive to the store if I needed milk or whatever, I am able to function fully on it because I'm not trying to be like over medicate myself with it. And that's the beauty of it. You can just take a little bit and function.
My wife as well. I did use the word cure. Alcoholism. Okay. A lot of people are like, "Oh, it's a disease you have forever." That's not true. I believe that you can be cured from it, but my wife, the cannabis has definitely helped her a lot.
Oh yeah,
she drank as much as I did, and
I can tell you that too. And I've noticed that. I mean, I know that she kind of always smoked more than you did, but right? No, but she didn't even smoke as much as she does now. Yeah. And I noticed that she is, and because it's helping her since y'all quit drinking and everything, 100%. And that's absolutely the beauty of it. A lot of people use it to quit drinking. Quit doing medications. Yep. That's what it is. It's an exit drug, not they used to say it was a gateway
drug. Yeah.
It's the gateway drug. No, it's the exit drug.
Right.
It is absolutely the exit drug.
TB is a gateway drug, It used to be anyway, but
you can't OD on marijuana.
No, absolutely not.
It's the only thing you can't OD on.
Right, 100%.
You can OD on food. You can OD on aspirin. You can OD on just about anything else, but you cannot on medical marijuana. Period. So I feel like the fact that it's been kept from us all these,
yes, absolutely,
and just demonized like it has been is just. It's absolutely sad.
It is.
It's created the war on drugs. It's created so many problems, and so many families have been torn apart.
And like you said,
and they could have, right. And it could have never happened if we just had access to more natural medications.
Yep.
It's really just very heartbreaking that the government kept us from the one thing that could have been so beneficial to so many people. So many of our family that went through cancers and awful times with medications and cancer treatments that could have had something like that to help them get through it. I mean, like, just because the states
this is holistic anyway, the way that holistic approaches or holistic cures or means of cures are looked upon as second class, or that's it doesn't work, or it's
but we're dying younger now.
Yes, 100%.
You look at these 110-year-olds. How the hell did they get there?
Right.
Natural medicines.
Yep.
not taking all the medicines, not going to doctors. Some of them don't even go. Yeah. I know so many that didn't. They just use natural medicine.
Yep. 100%.
So they grew up on natural medicine. They grew up in a different times. There wasn't all this processed shit in our food.
The processed food, it has a lot
so
to do
now, like, we're dying younger and younger all the time, and we wonder why. Well, because we just continue to put crap in the food, and we continue to pollute our environment, and like, yeah, it's crazy. But you do, when you look at these people and you're like, God, you look incredible for 95. Like, well, how do you think? Because they were not poisoning their bodies the whole entire time. That's how.
100%. Yes. The absolute facts.
My grandmother is 84 years old, and she looked incredible. She's fixing to be 85. My mother just passed away at 65, and she looked way older than 65 because she abused her body her whole life.
Yeah, I'm actually fighting that now with the alcohol.
The alcohol is so bad on your body. It really, and if you kept doing it, it was just going to get worse.
Yep,
so
I got a lot of reversal to do.
Yeah, and you can reverse it. You
Absolutely,
just
100%.
totally got to work at it, and you got to stick to it.
Yep.
It's just hard. You're always an addict. You're always going to be not doing it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
But it's okay because you know right now you feel better than you ever have.
No, yep, absolutely, 100%.
And you can say that with the full conscious of like meaning it. And so why would you ever do that again?
100. Yep. Why would I cloud my brain? And
if you had to do anything, you need to just smoke some weed.
That's it.
And you're going to be just fine, Scotty. We got you. We got you.
100%. That's so awesome. Thank you so much for your insight. I definitely appreciate it. Is there anything else that you like to add that you feel is pertinent?
We covered quite a lot. I feel like we can do this a lot. We could really come on here and talk about all kinds of things. They're always changing. So anytime, and if anybody has questions, they want to write in and ask, like, say they have some questions they want us to talk about on the next time we get together. I would love to hear.
Sacred Frequency Podcast at yahoo.com.
Yes, I'd love for them to write in and give us some topics that we could cover, and I would love to bring any information that they would like us to bring to them, or information about products or information about whatever, like
100%.
strains or terpenes. Why do we worry about terpenes and not THC? Like that kind of stuff. Like, what are terpenes and why do we want them? So all different kind of stuff. Like, there's so many cool things we can talk about. All the different THCA, CBD, CBN, CBG, all the different things we can talk about.
Communicate with us via email. You might be brought on the show as a special guest to talk with us. But
we're always up for questions that people want to hear. We want to know what you want to hear. So definitely let us know, and we'll try 100%. To get that information to you.
And I do have Brittany chilling in the room right now. She is our a board member. She is our treasurer, finance guru, thank God. She is.
So we hope.
Yeah, go ahead and say hi, Brittany.
Hey, guys.
She was kind of chilling in the background, cheering us on.
Yeah, just giving that good old college try.
That's it. We're actually doing a podcast with her coming up here soon about the healing power of crystals.
Yeah.
She brought us some today for a moon ritual 100%. We're going to do. I'm so excited.
It's not just for the hippies. These things, just like cannabis, really do work for healing.
No, for real.
Well, it's a medicine older than time. It's one of the oldest medicines there is out there, along with herbs and plants and things that we do in the same community.
Well, they harness energy. I mean, and
and heals. We have them in our body, and we use them in our watches, and we use them everywhere.
Yeah, radios, crystal radios, yeah.
So I have a similar story to Jen here, and so we'll be definitely covering all of that. I think Thursday?
Yep. We're going to record it Thursday, and then it will come out. Not sure which episode number, but we have yours coming out. Then I've got a quantum healer.
Yes,
Raquel.
That's going to be amazing.
Yep, she's going to do a session. Mufasa Love's going to be doing one on chakra cleansing, which is very cool.
Love that.
So many energy centers in our body.
I got doctor coming on. I have the owner of a bee farm coming on. So, honey,
natural medicine's beauty. There's so many different levels to it, and that you can get into with the crystals or the sound healing. All of these different levels, and then when you incorporate in your cannabis and your CBD with it, it's such an elevated experience. It really is.
And I'm bringing my buddy Mikey on to talk about fasting as well, which a lot of people don't understand. You know, food is dangerous. You know, when somebody gets sick, what do you ask them? What'd you eat?
Right.
So there's a lot of benefits to fasting, and
I want more information on that too.
Yes,
so
100%.
Awesome.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot. I mean, it's the benefits are out there waiting for us to gather them. You know.
Oh yeah.
We just have to
bring them,
seek them out, and
bring them to the people,
and apply them. You know. Yep. Just apply them. Very. It's a pretty simple process. So speaking of crystals, it is a full moon, isn't it?
Full moon.
So I think that's the best time to
the
charge
apex was
them.
at like 5:27 this evening, so
Nice.
we're going to be right in time to do some. I got some herbs. I've got some wax. I've got a little bottle. I think we're going to make some really cool things.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, I
That's
do some
awesome.
cool intention things.
I've got crystals too over there.
Yeah.
I got to put them out.
I think, one of the things that you learn in any of these exchanges that we have is that energy begets energy.
Sure.
And no matter what frequency you're vibrating at, you're going to see that reflected back. And so
100%.
giving is the energy that I'm giving out because it is so abundant.
Yep.
Right now.
We are energy living the human experience.
Yeah.
Am I correct? Yes, absolutely. That's what we are.
So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you, Scotty. Thanks for welcoming on. Jen, you were incredible.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so
Thank you for
much.
your knowledge.
Thank you.
We definitely appreciate it. And folks, I just want to thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Sacred Frequency Podcast. Check us out. sacredecho.org is our website. We'll have all of our information on there. We're on all social media platforms, Sacred Echo, Instagram. We're about to be on X. So Facebook and the podcast as well, Sacred Frequency Podcast, Facebook, Sacred Frequency Podcast, Instagram. Just follow us. Subscribe to us.
Like, subscribe, comment, share.
Like, subscribe, comment, share. There you go. And like Jen said, if there's something that you want to hear, let us know. If it comes anything to do with holistic, natural ways of life, even
Frequency.
No, if you have a
Music.
specialty
Music,
that we
yes.
haven't listed or don't know about, we want to hear about.
community building, things like that, just everything. If you're hiking, anything to do with the outdoors.
Outdoors, we love outdoors.
Because
that's nature.
that's nature and that is healing as well.
That is
Yes.
therapeutic.
100%, yes, especially for depression and anxiety.
Oh, yeah. Get outside. Go outside. It's beautiful.
So, folks, once again, thank you so much. We definitely appreciate you being on board, and we will see you soon.
त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्ध